Okay, so we're ready to move on, and what I want to do is I want to kind of bring everything together that's going to be stationary. Everything that's going to be on the circuit, we're going to have the lights, the window lights. We're going to have the lights around the sensor dome. We're going to put a light in for the windows. And when it comes to the stuff going to the circuit board, what we're going to do is we're going to put the beacons leading to the circuit board. Now, on that circuit, we're going to have the port and starboard, the red and the green, and we're also going to have the blinking beacon up at front, in the front. Now, I was wondering whether I should do the soft white to put that in, but I think I'm going to go with the clear. And what we're going to do is we'll push it in a little bit to recess it, kind of like what we did for the thrusters. Because when you see it on screen, it looks like it's almost flush with the surface of the ship. So what I want to do is we're going to take a clear bulb, just like we did for the port and the starboard, except this one's going to be clear. So we're going to use this one, and again, we're going to put the resistor on the positive lead, or the anode. And we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to test it to make sure it's going to work. Then we'll solder it, and we'll run it into the same circuit as the other lights that are going to go to the circuit board. So I had wanted, ideally I would have used the soft white, but I just think it'll look better with the clear. And again, we're going to recess it. So yeah, so let's test this out and make sure this works. So that looks pretty good. And what I think we can do is we'll solder it when we're putting everything in. So in the meantime, I want to do the same thing to the front. Like when we drilled the beacons in the front, we're going to follow the center line, and we're going to go right to about there. So what I want to do is I make a little bit of a guide. See? All right, what I want to do is we're going to bring this through right like that. See how it's kind of like we did with the thrusters, but it's not going to be that, it's not going to protrude that much. I'm going to want it in just a little bit. So we got to wait for the glue gun to heat up, and we're going to hot glue it in place, and then before it sets, we'll put it up and we'll make it flush with the surface. Okay, so while we wait for the glue gun, I think we can think about bringing everything together now. We got the leads that are going to be coming from the lights that are around the sensor dome. And we have the leads for the lights that are going to be lighting up the windows. So I think we can feed off that. So we need to bring those together. So we're going to take this now, and we're going to put this on this lead. So we also need to tie in the thrusters. So we're going to take a little, we're going to do a little jumper. And we'll put this on right here. And see if the hot glue is gun is hot enough. So we're going to bring this through right here. want to do now is we're going to let that solidify a bit, and then we're going to kind of push it up through. Not quite to where it's recessed, but just about maybe a 32nd of an inch. Just breaking the surface. See how we pushed it up just ever so slightly. So it's still going to protrude, but not as much as the navigation beacons on port and starboard. So let's let this set. See that? And that's hot glued in place. Okay, so now we're going to tie in the thrusters. All right. So if everything is right, I want to test it before we do any kind of soldering. All right. So if we did everything right, we got the lights for the windows, we've got the thrusters, and we've got the area underneath where the sensor dome area is. So hopefully you can see the thrusters. So that looks good, and we can think about soldering everything in place. And then I'm going to secure the wires. So why don't we go ahead, and I want to make sure we got all the lights, all the windows, all the thrusters, all the sensor dome lights. And like I said, the beacons are all going to be on a separate circuit going down to the circuit board. So I think we can do now, we can go ahead, we're going to solder everything, make sure everything is really secure, and then we can kind of secure everything. So let's get the flux, and we've got to get the solder gun, so we don't really need the glue gun right now. So all the places we put the connections, we're gonna put some flux on them. Then what we can do later on is we'll have the feed for all the stationary lights. We'll take the feed, it'll come through the saucer pylon and then feed the circuits. Alright. Okay, so it isn't pretty, but it is soldered. Right down to the light that we're going to anchor, that we're going to use to light the windows. So why don't we go ahead and we're going to test it. And because it is a full circuit now, we can pretty much hook it up anywhere. So let's hook it up here. And we can hook it up, let's say right here. So hopefully you guys can see we get the light that's going to be lighting up these windows. And we have the bottom that's going to be lit up with the sensor dome area, the thrusters. And we're going to use the glue gun. We're going to secure everything, and I want to make the bulb where it's going to be lighting. We'll do the middle, or the lights around the sensor dome, and we're going to do the area up on top of the bridge area, B and C decks. That's going to be that light. Okay, so for now, this is good. While we still got the solder gun out, let's disconnect this now. What I want to do now is we're going to jump all of the beacons. So we're going to do the starboard, port starboard, and the clear in the front. Now remember, we're also going to bring the ones from the top of the saucer section, and we're going to tie them into that, but that's going to be later when we do the top part. But right now, why don't we go ahead and we're going to get the wiring ready to jump the beacons. And we're going to have to jump to the middle beacon. So we're going to hook it up right here. And now we need to jump to the port side. So we get another piece of the positive wire. And we're going to jump this across, and we're going to bring it to this resistor. There. And that's going to tie together the beacon lights. And what we're going to do, we're going to bring the feed and we're going to connect the two off the top saucer section. So now let's do the negative leads. All right. So if we did all this right, we should just have the stationary, the navigation beacons light up. So let's hook one up. Let's see. I'll make sure we got the right ones. So we're going to hook it up here. And we're going to hook one up here. And that way there, all the navigation beacons should light. See? So now we're ready to solder all these. So let's disconnect them. And we'll get the flux ray. Okay, so everything is soldered. So why don't we go ahead and hook up the navigation beacons again. Yeah, we can even do it from, let's do it from the side again. Oh, we still got these to do. There. Again, I apologize for the mess. But we'll secure everything down, so let's go ahead. I want to hook up the navigation beacons. There. So we get everything soldered. Alright, so we're going to glue everything down, kind of secure it, but I want to monitor it to make sure that nothing gets disconnected, just like that. And I want to make sure everything is still connected and working. Okay, we got everything there. And I'm going to start to secure everything with the glue gun. So this can go, we'll push that forward. And now we can think about doing the middle wires. Make sure everything's still on. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to use a piece from the sprue tree. We're going to put that right in over here. I'm going to glue the light to it, so I'm going to put just a little bit on the end. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some LED tape on the top, aiming down, because I think it'll distribute the light a little bit better. And when I put the liquid glass in, I think it'll look a little bit better as well. But you can see we got all the stuff in place, and the moment of truth. You want to be able to put the top part of the saucer section on, and obviously it's got the power supply in there, the feeds, but everything will be nice and flat, because on the top we still have to do the beacons, and I gotta check. I think there's one in the front on the top, but I'm not sure. I gotta check. So when it comes to the bottom, everything is glued in place. Everything is going to be nice and secure. It may not look pretty, but it's doing the job. And I'm going to put a little jumper onto the beacon so we can light everything up, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Alright, so I'm just going to make a makeshift little jumper, and I'm going to keep them together so I can keep track, so that we can jump this. So that's going from, from a thruster, and let's just jump it right over to the beacons. That way there I can light everything up, and I'll show you guys what it looks when everything is wired, and the way it's going to look eventually, but the beacons will be blinking, obviously. And we'll go over to the positive. And this time everything should light up. You guys can see everything is on. So let's go ahead and turn the lights out. You can see the way it looks on the inside. And now, hopefully you guys can see, we got the lights coming along the edge. And we have the navigation beacons, and again they're going to be blinking, the red, the green, and the clear on top. And we're going to have, like I said, the windows. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the clear, the window maker in, and I think we're going to put a little bit of the LED tape on the top or the bottom of the saucer section, just so it goes down and lights up the windows. As you can see, looks pretty good, but we want to distribute it, make it all lit up. Coming around, hopefully you guys can see all the windows, and there's a big difference with those resin parts that are in front, the diffusion of light, because if those weren't there, you really wouldn't be able to see the windows unless it was aimed directly at you. You can see going all the way around to the front, navigation beacon. And again, we'll tone down the lights around the sensor dome. So yeah, I think what we're ready to do now is, for the wiring, I think the wiring of the bottom part of the primary hull is just about finished. So what I want to do is we're going to start working on the upper half. And we have the navigation beacons to put on. And we have a couple of other, the impulse crystal. And we still have to do the officer's lounge. And we'll put in some LED tape to illuminate these windows. It'll look a little bit better. So my friends, I hope you're enjoying the build. And till my next video, I'll talk to you guys real soon.